At least 15 people were killed and 50 others hurt when the shooter opened fire in a bowling alley and nearby restaurant. 40-year-old Robert Card is being named as a person of interest in connection with the shootings.
Killer in this case gunned down in total between 15 and 20 people, up to 50, as Savannah said, injured in both of these situations. And we now have some clarity as to exact chronology of how it happened.
I don't think anyone has digested it yet. I think that honestly, everybody is still like, whoa, like what? It's not even going to digest yet of what's going on. This is crazy. We don't see that here.
They have expanded their search now to more than 100 investigators. They are not calling him right now a suspect. They're calling him a person of interest, 40 years old, as you see on your screen, from Bowdoin, which again is now under a shelter-in-place order. As you would expect, you've heard from loved ones, of course, that don't know necessarily the fate of someone that they care about and are looking for clarity and for more information.
In the serene state of Maine, known for its picturesque landscapes and close-knit communities, an unimaginable tragedy unfolded that left the towns of Lewiston and its surrounding areas in shock and mourning. On what began as an ordinary evening, the peace was shattered by a devastating mass shooting that claimed the lives of at least 18 innocent individuals and left 13 others injured, some fighting for their lives. The events have sent ripples of grief, fear, and disbelief through these small New England communities, forever altering their sense of security. The nightmare began just before 7 p.m. on a weeknight, a time when families often gather to unwind from the day's routines. At a local bowling alley in Lewiston, the atmosphere was lively as children participated in a youth league night. Laughter and camaraderie filled the air, a comforting scene that epitomized the simple joys of small-town life. However, the idyllic moment was abruptly replaced by terror, as an armed individual stormed into the establishment and began firing indiscriminately. The joyous sounds of bowling pins tumbling and cheerful chatter were drowned out by the chilling echoes of gunfire and the anguished cries of those caught in the crossfire. Witnesses recounted harrowing scenes of chaos as parents shielded their children, and families desperately sought refuge under tables, behind counters, or wherever they could find cover. Some even fled through back exits, their hearts pounding as they ran for safety. The terror did not end there. A mere 12 minutes later, the gunman struck again, targeting a second location, a bar and grill situated just 4 miles away. This establishment, a beloved gathering spot for locals to enjoy meals and socialize, was transformed into another scene of horror. Patrons who had been enjoying a quiet evening were suddenly thrust into a life-or-death struggle as the attacker unleashed a second round of devastation. Survivors spoke of the unimaginable terror, with some diving behind furniture, barricading doors, or escaping through windows. The coordinated attacks left both locations marked by shattered glass, overturned tables, and the haunting silence of lives forever altered. As the community grappled with the immediate aftermath, authorities quickly identified the suspect as 40-year-old Robert Card. A U.S. Army reservist with specialized firearms training, Card had a background that made the situation even more alarming. Reports soon emerged that he had recently spent time in a mental health facility earlier in the year, raising questions about his mental state and access to weapons. Law enforcement officials warned the public that Card was considered armed and extremely dangerous, intensifying fears in the community. Adding to the tension, his vehicle was discovered abandoned near a boat launch in Lisbon, Maine, its doors ominously left open. This discovery raised chilling concerns about his potential escape plans and left authorities scrambling to determine his whereabouts. In the immediate aftermath, emergency services sprang into action. Local hospitals were inundated with casualties, with medical staff working tirelessly to treat injuries that ranged from minor wounds to life-threatening conditions. The scenes at the hospitals were heart-wrenching, with families arriving in tears, desperate for news about their loved ones. The tragedy also mobilized a massive law enforcement response, with over 350 officers from multiple states and federal agencies, including the FBI, joining the search for the suspect. Helicopters equipped with infrared technology scoured the rural and wooded areas of Maine, while ground teams conducted door-to-door searches, leaving no stone unturned. For the residents of Lewiston and nearby towns, the impact of the attacks has been profound and far-reaching. Streets that are normally bustling with life have become eerily quiet, as residents adhere to shelter-in-place orders and remain vigilant, locking their doors and windows. Public safety alerts have been issued across 2 counties, with authorities urging people to remain cautious and report any suspicious activity. The psychological toll on the community cannot be overstated. The twin attacks have left families grieving the loss of loved ones, while survivors grapple with the trauma of what they endured. Vigils and memorials have begun to spring up, with flowers, candles, and handwritten notes serving as poignant reminders of the lives lost. The sense of loss is palpable as residents struggle to reconcile the violence that has invaded their peaceful lives with the Maine they once knew. In the days following the tragic attacks in Lewiston, a flood of questions has emerged, each underscoring the deep uncertainty about how such a devastating event could unfold. Conversations about mental health, gun control, and community safety have taken center stage, sparking debates across the nation about the measures necessary to prevent future tragedies. While these discussions are vital, the immediate focus remains on healing the emotional wounds of those affected and coming together as a community to support one another through this harrowing time. Vigils and memorials are being held, providing solace to grieving families and friends as they mourn the lives so suddenly and senselessly lost. The events in Lewiston stand as a stark and haunting reminder of the fragility of peace in an increasingly volatile world, where acts of senseless violence disrupt lives and shatter communities. Residents of these tight-knit towns are banding together, leaning on one another for comfort and strength in the face of unthinkable tragedy. The path forward will not be easy. The scars left by such an event are not only physical but emotional, cutting deeply into the fabric of the community. Yet, amidst the sorrow and uncertainty, there is a glimmer of hope born from the resilience and unity of the people. They are committed to honoring the memories of those who perished, ensuring that their stories and legacies live on, even as they confront the long road to recovery. For the residents of Lewiston, the journey toward healing is just beginning, but their courage and resolve shine brightly as a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest moments, the strength of the human spirit can prevail.